800-951-0592, Joe and Jason, Patriot Radio News Hour. Gold flat out. Kitco's got it up. I'll tell you it's flat 2033. That is for the June gold contract, 2033. Silver's down 10 cents, 25.53. As I was saying before the break, all banks are losing deposits, even the big ones, especially the big ones. The Martins, Wall Street on Parade. These two, they're a husband and wife team. They do such a great job. They specialize in the Fed. So these guys, they go through all the stuff the Fed puts out, and they look at all of this information. They're part of a group that filed for the Freedom of Information Act request to find out how much money did the Fed really print during the last financial crisis. Then, of course, we learned the Fed, what they actually told us and what they actually did. Jason, that was incredible, the difference and how much more money they actually created than what they let the public to believe back in 2008.
Yeah, I mean, when we played that piece from Glenn Beck, who dug it up and reported it, it seemed like he was, as far as I could tell, he was the only one that reported this. Nobody else seemed to either want to report it or had the information, but it's there. It's sitting right there, $29 trillion instead of $5 trillion. I mean, they told the public that there was $5 trillion given to the banks and fixing things, right? Japan got $3.1 trillion. Japan, just Japan. Most of the big banks were getting $1.5, $2.5 trillion, $2.75 trillion for the big banks, Joe, individually. That's not $5 trillion. And you've got to believe that here we are 15 years later, it can't be better, right? How is it that things are coming unglued now and they're not printing this money? Glenn Beck had mentioned that he believed that during the crisis, starting in 2020 with the COVID emergency, that the theory would be, well, maybe it might be as much as $1 trillion a week.
Yeah.
And over 2 years, that's $100 trillion. He's like, that seems ridiculous, but now we're in a world where if it's $29 trillion back in 2010, what could it be right now, Joey? Is it $1 trillion a week? We have no idea, and that's a problem that's not going to get better.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if you go debt size, if that matters, then you would have to be like, well, it's got to be 3 or 4 times that amount, right? So instead of $29 trillion, let's round up $30 trillion. Would it have to be $90 to $120 trillion? That would seem to be logical, right? I mean, I don't know, but the Martins, the 3 largest U.S. banks, J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, deposits held April 27th, 2022 versus deposits held April 26th, 2023. So 1 year, 1 full year. At J.P. Morgan, they lost $184 billion worth of deposits from 22 to 23. Now, some of that probably is people, spent the last of their COVID money, right? Some of it, but not $184 billion of it, right? Bank of America lost $162 billion. And then last but not least, Wells Fargo, year over year, is down just under $120 billion. So, Jason, this is not just a story of deposits leaving the regional or small banks. They're leaving all banks, period.
Right. And who are the ones that are withdrawing the deposits? Because obviously it's not the little guy that's, making, $25 an hour and just trying to pay his bills. These are big companies or big countries that have deposits in these banks. And so,
millionaires,
why are they
billionaires?
Why are they pulling it?
Why are they exactly? That's what you got to be asking yourself. Why? And the answer is pretty simple, because these are people, especially now. Listen, all these banks, every one of these big banks is offering at least 4% interest, at least for the big guys. You got for the big players. You can have 4.5. Maybe you can squeeze close to 5% out of a few of these banks just to leave their money in there, and they're saying no, thank you. That tells you all you need to know. Last week we had a deal on those 1921 Morgans, right, those rolls of 1921 Morgans. Well, I've got like 20 rolls left over. I don't have enough to do anything with. And then we had a customer come in, and he sold us these 1 gram bars. A 1 gram bar is like I liken it to like a little computer chip. Right? It's a gram of gold. You need 33 grams to get an ounce of gold. I think some of you have seen them out there. They're just this little, like a little tab, like the smallest gold bar you can possibly imagine. Tell you what I'm going to do, because I'm in a good mood and I just need to get rid of this stuff. I've got 19 rolls of Morgan dollars. They're $795. I've got 19 of these 1 gram bars. I don't use the F word very often, but I was gonna hit them for $5. I'm like, I'm gonna use the F word. You order the roll of 21 Morgans, you're gonna get a 1 gram gold bar, all at the same price, $795. So essentially, you're gonna get a gram of gold for free. I went and looked like Atmex and those guys online. They want like 100 for a 1 gram gold bar. So there you go, $795 for a roll of 1921 Morgans, along with a 1 gram gold bar at 800-951-0592. So I guess you could look at it this way. You tell yourself, well, I'm going to buy the Morgans for $695, and I get the 1 gram bar for $100. Or, hey, I'm going to get a free gram of gold for the $795. I don't care, however you want to do it. But I get, like an early summer gift from me to you guys. 800-951-0592. Jason and I, we're coming right back. $800-951-0592. For all you people out there on YouTube, I'm holding up a 1 gram bar for you guys to try to get a look at it. It's again, when you're talking about barter, right? 1 gram gold bar, that's about as small as you can get in gold. When you're looking for that barterable material, I'm throwing it in with the 21 Morgan. These 21 Morgans, listen, these are VG Plus condition. Everybody out there, I saw $46 a coin, $44 a coin. We're below 40 on those, and then I'm going to throw in a gram of gold. So 800-951-0592, 1921 Morgans, VG Plus condition, and 1 gram of gold, all for $795 at 800-951-0592. And just like everything, right? The Morgan dollars, the peace dollars, junk silver, silver eagles, right? All the silver products are just huge demand, Jason.
Yeah. huge demand. It seems to be increasing by the day, and I can't get away from the imagery that you're holding up a baggie on our gold show. It's like, what kind of show are we having here, Joe? You're holding up baggies. You're selling baggies to people, but it's just it keeps the 1 gram gold bar from falling down the ventilation. You know, you drop that thing or the wind blows and you lost that, and that's over $100 in gold. You got something that can blow away in the wind, and there's $100 in gold in there. So, man, it just shows you how. And that's not because gold is so important or so much more valuable. Gold hasn't done anything. Gold is 1 ounce of gold in a cow. It's kind of been like that for a long time. It's the dollars. This monetary system is in shambles. They've swindled this country and this world on these dollars for so long. The guys at the top must be laughing it up that people are still addicted to these crappy dollars. But that's where we're at, Joe. You're holding up a little baggie with a little gold flake in it, and it's not because the gold's more valuable. It's the same ounce of gold. That's 1 gram. It's the dollars. So the dollars are crap.
This is worth what 5 $20 gold pieces were worth in 1933. This little itty bitty piece of gold. It's just absolute insanity to think about it. And again,
$12,500 for those 20s. $12,500 in that neighborhood for those 520s.
For what used to be $100. That's kind of what we're facing now. And again, we're talking about people moving money out of those banks because they're smart. We also don't forget too, we do gold and silver IRAs. Physical gold and silver. Now, you don't get to hold it, but let's just say you have an existing IRA, or maybe it's a 401k from a job you no longer work at. And you're like, man, I want to get in gold and silver. I don't have $100,000 sitting in my bank account, but I got this IRA that does. And man, I'd like to really get it out of Wall Street. We do physical gold and silver IRAs. It's actually everything used to be stored in Delaware. Now you get a choice. You can either store it in Delaware or you can store your gold in Texas. We just provide the gold for you on your behalf. We use a company called Gold Star Trust. They're going to be the fiduciary of your account. They're the ones that will set your accounts up with them. They'll send you your statements. Of course, everything's online. You can look at your statements online and all that other stuff. And then we'll physically deliver the gold to the depository that you tell us. And it works just like any other of these, IRAs. It's FDIC insured for whatever that's worth. But it works just like the only difference is instead of you buying a stock, hey, I bought gold, right? I bought silver and I physically bought it and it's sitting in the depository. When it comes time for you to do something with it, let's just say you get of age and the government wants you to start selling because they want their tax dollars. Well, don't worry. You have the option. You can take possession at any time. That would be like you're liquidating. Or you could sell it back to us. And then we'd send the money to your Gold Star account, and then you could do whatever you decide to do with it from that point is up to you. But you kind of get the best of both worlds, Jason, because at any time you can just decide, you know what? I don't want my gold in Texas. I don't want my gold in Delaware. I'm just going to take physical delivery of it. You can absolutely do that. Now, it would be the equivalent of you selling. So obviously you got to consult your tax guy for all that stuff. But you can get to it, Jason. And
I'm convinced that little flake you're waving around by the end of 2024 could be a $300 flake of gold. I'm convinced. Joe Namath is the one that makes everyone do these guarantees. Guaranteeing on gold price is kind of ridiculous. You never know for sure what's going to happen. But Joe, with the rest of 2023 and what I think is going to happen in 2024. That flake of gold could easily be a $300 flake of gold. We could be seeing 4,000 or like at least upper 3,000 range gold by the end of next year. And I wouldn't be surprised if it blew way past that. I'm not into panicking people and say, hey, it could be 5,000 gold at the end of next year, but it wouldn't surprise me, Joe. And we're gonna see it. It's gonna move once it moves fast, it moves very fast. But it's gonna grind slowly, Joe, for the next year or so.
More pressure, Pac West, after a day and a half of reprieve, back under pressure again. Again, this banking thing's not done with. Everybody's taking the rights. Well, I guess 50% of the people are at least smart enough to think that, hey, maybe I better do something. We've got some great options for you. We'll be back wrapping it up on this Tuesday. (800) 951 We've got a few of the rolls of 1921 Morgans. So you get 20 1921 Morgans and 1 gram of gold. And believe it or not, I mean, these things are kind of neat. They're stamped. They got a serial number on it. I mean, it's not even as big as a thumbnail. I kind of liken it to like a little, like a microchip. I don't know. I don't even know what a microchip looks like, but in my mind, that's what it looks like. And guess what? $7.95. That's right. $100. Go out, look up grams of gold. Everyone wants $100+ for these things. You're going to get a roll of 1921 Morgans, which were already superiorly priced at $795. And then you're going to get this gram of gold. The problem is I don't have very many. I only had 19 and I have less than that now. But pick them up. What a great opportunity. 800-951-0592. If you want more information on rolling over IRAs, Arlene is our expert here. She does all of our IRAs. So if you want IRA information, just call up and say, hey, I want to talk to Arlene about rolling over an IRA, and she'll get, if she's not here, she'll call you when she works. She works Tuesday through Friday, just so everybody knows. But she'll help you get all of that rolling. It's just a matter of some paperwork. And the reason why we use Gold Star, they just charge the least amount of fees, because that's what we're all about, right? Don't pay more when you don't have to, right, Jason?
That's right. And for those that are on the lower end of the budget and you're having trouble even just to buy the roll of silver dimes, we also have the metals program, Joe, which that's a great place to start because, as time goes on, your fortunes may change and then you want to buy more. But here's where you don't even have to think about it. If you're like, wow, this is really confusing. It's so hard to understand all this. The metals program means you just have to trust Patriot Trading Group, which is a very trustworthy company. And you put in a minimum of $100 and as much as you want per month and every quarter. You do a pickup, right, Joe?
Yeah. And again, we can pick up, we can ship. The quarter ends. The next quarter will end in June. It's a great program. We have people. They do. It's the craziest thing. I mean, a lot of people, they do $100 a month, $200, $300 a month. We have people doing $5,000 a month, and everything in between. There's the minimum's $100. There is no maximum. You get 4 physical deliveries a year. If you pick up in any of our Colorado offices or office here in Phoenix, you don't even pay the shipping fee. I mean, it's just a great program.
It's really, really good, and a lot of people ask all the questions. What about the taxes, or what about if I want to up it, or what if I want to lower it? What if I have to pause it? We don't have any fees for any of that, Joe, right? There's no fees for changing the metals program. You just have to have the minimum of $100 or more.
Yeah, that's right. No fees ever. We don't charge. There's no setup fee, no cancellation fee. Listen, we get it. That's one of the things that I love about the plan, especially the people that are at the lower end. Hey, that's a lot. They're budgeting there, and an unexpected expense comes up. Just call us. Hey, I need to put my plan on hold. It's just that simple. We're not going to give you a hard time. No problem. That doesn't cost you nothing. If you say, hey, can you ship whatever I've got and put the plan on hold? You bet. I want to change the amount. No problem. It's a great little plan. If you go to allamericangold.com and click on the metals button, you can read all the details there as well. God bless everybody. Jason and I, we're coming right back with the half-empty cup.